Technically, the fact that at most indoor restaurants or businesses, we have to wear a shirt and shoes and pants. Technically, this is against our civil liberties as well, but when was the last time you complained about wearing a shirt? I'm guessing you've seen some pretty horrific stuff on social media. Whether you're on the left or the right, you've seen something on social media that infuriates you. I'm in a very unique situation right now where my social circle is a combination of both. So, as you know, as a tech company, we are very left-leaning, the industry that is. It is very, very much on the political left. What you hear every single day coming out of California, from startups, you know what I'm talking about. Meanwhile, trucking, well, that's the old school right. Most of you have never met a trucker in your life, but I'm guessing you have an impression of what you think a trucker acts like. Well, the fact of the matter is that neither of those two stereotypes are really true. And a lot of that is due to how social media is influencing you. So, the Eastern Ontario government just released a new bill or a new law, I don't even know which one it is anymore, but mandating that masks be worn in indoor spaces. Now, I could go about this a couple different ways. I have definitely heard from people that, hey, this is unnecessary, masks don't help anyone, they might be pointless, they're only marginally helpful. But there is significant research that shows that wearing a mask for everyone, not just those who are sick, does reduce transmission. I'm definitely not the expert on it, and neither have I always been the best at wearing a mask indoors, which I will definitely be doing from here on out, which is why this is important, by the way. This makes it clear to people like me that this is something mandatory. And whereas before I might sometimes forget, now I know, hey, Terry, you gotta get your stuff together. You have got to wear a mask at all times when you're indoors. But the importance here is that it really does reduce transmission, and that's the important part. It's not that it completely prevents you from getting COVID. It doesn't, but that's not the goal. The goal is to lower transmission with the combination of social distancing, which means that as we as a country start opening up, that we don't experience a resurgence like the US has seen. And this is extremely important because while yes, it does infringe on some of our social liberties, it is such a small liberty. What happens now with social media is that they work on an algorithmic basis to promote the content that gets the most engagement. This, for most of my marketing buddies out there, you'll understand very clearly. Stuff that gets high click-through rates, stuff where people engage a lot, they react to it, they comment on it, that also gets boosted up to the very top. What does this mean? It means that the content that is most likely to generate engagement gets seen the most. People react to stuff that viscerally makes them either really angry, in which case it contrasts their views and is almost a parody, or makes them really happy. That's how social media amplifies the voices within your little echo chamber and results in a lack of diversity in what you hear. What happens is that even though the majority of posts come from people in the middle, people with very nuanced views, whether on the left or the right, what you actually hear are the loudest people on either end of the spectrum. So, what can you do to avoid this on your social media? First of all, be skeptical. Don't be stupid, don't question the moon landing, but be skeptical. When people post links, actually click on the link before reacting to it. I've seen too many headlines that are clickbait and have nothing to do with the content of the article. The second part of this is a little bit more complicated. Talk to people outside of your social bubble. Search out people outside of your typical social norms and figure out what they think. It completely opens your eyes when you look at the world from somebody else's point of view. And people, most people, I want to say the majority of people, are very much extremely nice people and more than willing to not just change their views, but to accept yours. So that's the real important thing here. Get out there, talk to people, and be a reasonable skeptic. Technically, the fact that at most indoor restaurants or businesses, we have to wear a shirt and shoes and pants. Technically, this is against our civil liberties as well, but when was the last time you complained about wearing a shirt? I think that for the next few months, that's what wearing a mask indoors is going to feel like. This one might feel a little bit political to some of you, but I hope it doesn't come across as political because wearing a mask is not a political issue. This one is pretty clear cut. Wear a mask, help save lives. It's a win-win situation. Wear a mask, and even if you're outside Eastern Ontario, think about why you should be doing that as well. Peace.